Welcome back. It is turn 53 on a Nidavangr playthrough, and we will jump in. So going through messages like we usually do, TC has grabbed a throne they went for, so they'll have 3. We're going to expect attack from them. We're doing some ritual returning, summons, twice boarding, are the usual things we have. We see unrest still building up, so we know there's a spy going on there. And hopefully we are patrolling them out, so maybe we have found them. And we have some fights with Vanheim. Now, just to quickly jump through them, they had no they just had PD. They didn't have any troops. So we're going to blitz through these and talk about next steps for that. So we took more of the underground provinces, took a lot more losses than 1 and 2 from the Zots, and then again, more TC fights, nothing to, I'm sorry, I said TC, Vanheim fights, nothing to really look at. And here, we lost some from their archers, but we're just pushing through the troops they have left behind. And our messages, Nethermines resources go up, nature gems, and an assassination on one of our commanders. So we had a fight, just looking through, we successfully fought. I wonder if they have a different battle arena. Yeah, so it's in the forest, but apparently there's a tavern here. So spiders come in, but we already know the victory, so nothing to really watch there. Nidhurst won. So, worldwide event, we have an arena coming up, and it looks like it will allow magic. And we did find the spy from TC. So. But not a lot of big fights, which I'm surprised with. That definitely means coming this turn. So Silver Fangs, nothing new. We still can breach it. We're still not going to. We're not sending a mage up to take that out. If there isn't a fight next turn, we will go ahead and send one up. We should have a spare, but right now we have a lot being ready in case we're assaulted and then patrolling out. So the big, or I would say most of the attention of the world is very much focused on this side on our western flank with TC, Vanheim, which we haven't seen a lot of. I'm sure they're moving troops through stealthily, but this is our 4th throne that we're trying to vie for. TC has pulled back. They're probably going to do a magic phase. With Vanheim holding the Grey Forest down, they didn't have a good lab to get to, so I know they probably took a step back to their capital to get ready to assault. We see them building up troops in Uruk, and they will be starting Vath, I'm sure. And then Vanheim. Vanheim is going to be striking soon. I thought they would strike this turn, or going into this turn. They will probably be striking into next turn, so we need to be prepared for that. So we have a lot of movement coming in with our troops. Just to look at a quick what we have here, we're bringing in what we can, and we're bringing in even more mages and chaff that we can bring or have. So we have some decent amount of, I would say, a solid small party of sacreds for this point in the game. We have a lot of chaff, and we're using our mages more offensively. As you see, they're throwing out Storm of Thorns, Ice Strikes. I didn't have him for some reason, and I'm not sure why he has Elemental Fortitude. Let's go ahead and change this as well, to just start with Ice Strikes across, and we have a few Blessing. And I missed a Bear Mage here, so let's go ahead and put him on the other stack and have him bless up and protect that arena as well. We want him to go ahead and do a group Barkskin, and then also start laying into with more nature of Storm of Thorns. So our goal is just to keep pushing what we can out, and we have our little blue cap that is going to be casting luck on our Nibest as well. So hoping to hold this down, but we don't have, if you notice, a lot of our sacreds nor any crow mages there. So we're trying to pull what we can from our Black Forest. We want to keep the bulk troops at Black Forest because even though we have PD, we don't have much here. So we're depending on those Nidbests that are pretty still resilient, and so we're trying to buff them with lightning protection, air protection, spell wards. We're bringing in from Cloud Trees from our cap to do more Thunder wards, arrow wards, etc. So just trying to protect, and we're sneaking over a crow to be ready to assist if need be as well. Actually, let's keep him back. Now thinking about it, let's keep him here, and he can magic phase. He has a pass where we could teleport instead of cloud trapeze and throw in some wind of death as well if need be. We're keeping our pretender here one more turn and throwing out more just protections that we can on it, and he's going to be doing the same script as last time where we use Wailing Winds to try to really take care of any army coming in. And if Vanheim attacks, I guess they could retreat to Grey Forest, but it's going to be a risky play if they retreat. So we're going to see, and actually showing magic phases, we have arrow wards coming down, luck, and because we know they're going to be having a lot of archer fire coming into Vath. For a lot of our forts, we are recruiting what we can. We're spending all of our income recruiting everywhere, and even along the path. We've talked about this in previous videos, but trying to grab wolf clans or archers if we need it to pull in all the way through these provinces. On the north side, we're still preaching down this dominion. Like, if we can bring in a crow mage, we will do so. We're wasting a lot of mage turns here, and I really want to send one up, but it's just too important in my view to keep them available to magic phase attack in our cap. And on our cap, we are still having sacreds patrolling, having mages patrolling, just to make sure that we can keep pushing our Nidbeth. I think we already showed recruitment, but yeah, maxing out our Nidbeth here. And as we go to the east side of our nation, we're still assaulting Vanheim. We really, as we took Sonra, wanted to really open up and apply pressure. I imagine most of their forces are not guarding, and so this is more just trying to take away their income and add it to ours. I'm hoping that we are getting a large income, there's a large disparity between the income and pushing through. In the Silverwoods, which we do know they're going to have a lot of units in crossbowmen, we're trying to now bring in some mage support to help and keep applying. So I want to bring these slightly back. I want the swordsman first. I want the sappers on the side to help with that, but just throwing up arrow wards where we can. Like I said, bring in that mage support since we left them a turn to research. We have another blue cap ready to do more summons. We're just waiting for, actually we'll go ahead. I think it's more important now to move some of our mages over, or gem economy over. Let's go ahead and alchemy some glamour gems from Astral. Because we're going to be using up our fire gems as well, and want to go ahead and start summoning. I think I have enough here. Oh, it's two. Did I click on the right one? Blue cap. Oh, it needs 20. My mistake. But I think we want to keep that production of blue caps to help support. We have one on Sonra to help keep pushing, and we have another one here to be able to do more summons, which we're going to do. We have one in Black, or 3 in Black Forest and 1 in Vath, but we'd like to get another one. So let's go ahead and do the same. Is go ahead and alchemize more glamour gems, as these are important right now. And even though we're stripping our astral, we're going to be moving a lot of our fire gems over. I do not see the game lasting for us to get into Fire Lords at this point. And I hate that end. I don't know if I covered this. And grab this glamour province, and I'm not really wanting to tick them off from Vanheim. So unfortunately, these, I think 2 glamour gems are going to be waiting for a while. But yeah, so back on to the east, I guess, yeah, our far east. We're trying just to keep pushing Vanheim with the Earth Shell Mountains being taken from Ashdod, and they're sieging that. I'm going to take advantage of that and push down to Mictlan. I want to free up a lot of this coastline. That way they're not sailing over and being able to assault quickly to these 2 thrones plus our capital. So more to come here, but I expect we'll be seeing a landing force somewhere from Vanheim. For bidding, we are trying to still recruit sappers. We're pushing for barbarians at Vath to keep with chaff and what we can do. And then for our research, we are pushing into enchantment. We're hit enchantment this turn, and we went ahead and made the change from conjuration into alteration to go into high alt. That will be it for this turn. The game may be closing soon, but we'll see. I imagine there will be an attack soon, and that will shift on our focus and where we bring our troops. But that is it for this turn. I'll see you next turn. But again, thank you so much for watching. Bye. Welcome back. It is turn 54 on our Nidavangr playthrough, and we don't really have a lot to talk about this turn. I was expecting some fights, but if you look through the messages, wasn't a lot of assaults from either Vanheim or TC. So we'll jump through it. We have some summons. We have some of our assaults. I'm just going to blitz through these quickly because these are just some very small skirmishes to take over provinces. So in this case, there wasn't really much PD or forces, so we just cleaned through that. So we took the Stone Grave Mountains. We see Ashdod picking up and retaliating against Vanheim as well, and they won. So always good to see. And then we attacked those Silver Woods. Again, they didn't have a lot here. Again, this looks like a Crow die, but really did not. It just became a Crow clan, Seth Ben Brender. So we didn't lose a lot against this PD either. We're just pushing through as a whole, and we'll check the Scar Souls here shortly. We also attacked Finnica. We were beat, but it was very close margin. Again, this is not PD. This was Independence, so we'll need more since we do not have much left. We kept most of the units, and then we had a couple events. So Tax and Unrest. So let's jump into the arena, and let's then jump into politics. So the first arena fight was going to be a mother versus the primate king. I think this is their last mother from the NPC controlling them. So then we went up against Ashdod, and looking at messages, we already kind of see what happened, but here we kind of glean what is happening here. So this is from Ashdod, one of their giants. Thakin Gore has a sword. We'll go ahead and we were planning on, we brought in one of our Nidhirs who had a Dream Spool, could bless as well, in this great sword. So let's see what happens. So they cast Iron Skin, they bless themselves as well, and come in. So we're looking at very high protection with that Iron Skin buff. And they're blessed, and I haven't looked at it. They have Withering Weapons, Precision, Magic Resistance, Cold Resistance, True Sight, Blur. So the Blur and Withering Weapons could be an issue for us, and that 26 protection and high defense. So there was a 30 hit, so that was a Scar Soul gone. And a 20 hit on us, and then it looks like we routed. So just looking at this is good. Always good to see things. I'm a little sad that this net here retreated. In the arena, you'll lose them. But we see just the one hit for 30. We hit them for 0. So Blur reduced it to attack to 14. And it was damage 26 plus 6, 27 versus 6. So very close there. After a few more misses, we hit them again. 26, 47. What a protection roll on that one. And then missed, and then they gored us for 20. We resisted K, but again, we just lost morale. But 47 protection. That's incredible. So this just shows you there is always a chance. When you're making these DRN rolls as a whole. But so we lose the Nid here from a retreat. So unfortunately, we do not become the arena champion, and that smashed the primate king. So Ashdod, congratulations, got a champion's helmet, some gold, and some gems. That's a really nice prize. But now we're back into what is going on in the world. Since we weren't attacked, we still haven't seen Vanheim. I really was surprised maybe they're having to take another turn to set up maybe to the island to retreat. We know they had forces on the top of our nation, so maybe they were pulling in to try to hit at the same time. We'll see. But we're pulling in a lot of our troops and mages, and we see from TC they're going to have to magic phase over most of their troops. They do have some horsemen, heavy horsemen, ministry, celestial master, and whatever they got from Uric. So they're bringing in everything they have, and then we're going to be storming. I am worried that I want to go ahead and storm to see if we can go ahead and snake in. We don't have, and this is a good way to talk about scripts, we don't have a great amount of our Nidbeth. We have 20. But what we do have is we have a heavy cav up front. We have a lot of mage support that we're trying to hopefully blast with some of those evocations we got on both sides. And we have a lot of the Bear Clan up front to soak hits as well. So we are going to be using what we have been: arrow warding, spell warding, shadow blast, horde of skeletons to assist there. And then on the other mages, we have Ice Strikes going out and Stormer of Thorns. So we're hoping to just overwhelm with Evocation. We do have one of our blue caps doing group luck on our Nid here. But this is, depending on how much they can soak and depending on what's hit, we're kind of worried. One thing I did think about now is if we don't siege, let's pull this in a little bit more just in case that they hit us beforehand. We don't leave flanks open with their cavalry. So we'll keep the Bear Clan warriors up front and the heavy cavalry on the side, and we'll do the same. We'll pull, in case they have gargoyles like they have been, we'll keep them in the back, maybe bring them a little bit further down. So what we're also bringing over to assist, I don't know if we talked about this the last 2 turns, but we made a Boots of Swiftness. Let me go ahead. Yeah, another trick, if you do not know, you can hold shift, move things around. I try to organize some of the items that we've crafted that we have in reserve. But we've brought over Ned Stark from the east flank, and using the Boots of Swiftness, he'll be getting there this turn. And actually, let's not have him sneak. That is a good catch to do. We want him to Divine Blessing, and assist. And let's go ahead and bring another mage in. Looks like he was waiting to assist. We know we'll need a bless because Ned Stark will not be assisting in the actual assault. So we have here Gift of Formlessness, Blessing, Ice Strikes, etc. So on Black Forest, we are still keeping our Pretender here, using a Dome of Arcane Warding, trying to set up, because we were able to research Enchantment 6 to get some Dome spells. Trying to assist with that, still researching, keeping these gems topped off, keeping our blue caps with Group Blur. Most of our forces here are these Nidbeth. So we're doing everything we can to buff these. These have been our bread and butter. We do have 2 white mages to assist us with the spell ward. We have Thunder Ward going up in case there's lightning strikes. And again, the same spells that we have been doing with Barkskin and Quickness and Moss Botting. So assisting on Black Forest. But we're moving a lot of troops because this area is going to be a lot of war. So a lot of our troop migration going over. Right behind it we have a lot of, I'll say, just militia to help us in case we need PD, in case we need to siege it back down. We have a lot of fresh Nidbeth coming in. We have more coming in behind them. We're still recruiting more and getting another Crow Mage. And we have Crow Mages ready to go to fly out. I almost sent in a couple more, but I'm going to hold these in reserve in case we need to throw an assault. Might be wrong, but we should have bring in maybe 2 or 3, but I'm expecting to be attacked, and I want to have a large force to be able to fly in, magic phase in if need be as well. On the eastern side, it's a lot more calm. We're still preaching out Dominion. We almost have enough troops between the main cat we took and Work and to maybe siege Silver Fangs again, but we're still trying to preach out this Dominion, and we have a group of Nidbeth here that are quite strong, patrolling out and making sure we're protected from end. On the east flank, we are really pushing Vanheim, so we have, I thought about going and trying to push a little bit more into their cap, but I want to wait here. Ashdod has also pushed in, so we're trying to enclose Vanheim, and we're going to be hitting Micklin. Again, I want to cover this coast to make sure they can't easily sail, and maybe even get down to Belfields as a throne if we could. But I'm bringing in a lot from Silverwoods to Micklin, keeping some of our scouts and Nidhurst, excuse me, stealthy. You're not moving. You should be moving as well. Rig, you're going to stay stealthy. Yep. So pulling in a lot, scouting out other provinces here. I believe that. But our main force is going into Micklin for Silverwoods. This was the one that we were able to use for Sonra, but we want to keep applying pressure, taking as much income as we can from Vanheim and adding it to our own reserves, and hopefully finding gem sites as well, because we're starting to dip in a lot into our fire to replenish air and glamour and astral gems. As you see, these are quite low now, as we've been just trying to throw a lot of what we can at armies. But that is about it. Again, not a lot to cover. There was no real big fights I want to see. To show mercs, there are no mercs to purchase. We have spent all of our treasury on recruiting at all the forts that we have, plus mages. Our research is right under 700, and we have thrown into alteration. We're going to give up conjuration. We're going to be using those fire gems elsewhere, but making the call to push that as our next dive into getting some of these large earth buffs, as we can cast from our pretender some of these global AoEs, and we still have wooden warriors coming up too, and then would love to get the quickening as well to get from our water mages. That would be huge as well. But that will be it for this turn. I expect to see some actions, and we'll see how the siege goes in Vath. But thank you again so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Hello and welcome back. This is turn 55 on our Nidavangr playthrough, and we have major battles to watch and turns to finish. So let's look at what's happening in the Black Forest. So TC has come in swinging. So they are bringing in most of what they have. Let's go ahead and turn on colored squares just to be able to see it. Coming in to fight us, and we see everything that we've been seeing from TC. Now it looks like we do have the numbers advantage, and I think the mage advantage, but they're bringing in their pretender, and we have our little human pretender up. So see Touch of Madness, we see Wailing Winds going up, Howl by one of their mages. I think we're going to have a Howl as well. Yep, we just see constant Gift of Heavens, but again, they do not have as much mage support as we've taken out. They just don't have the ways to get mages in, it looks like. So we're just seeing Gifts from Heaven, but all of our buffs. So we have Mist Form, we have Gift Formlessness, we have Quickness, Moss Body, and just watching. So a lot of the Wailing Winds are already hit. As you see, they're starting to retreat. And we have this squad in the middle here against it. And again, our Nithbeth. One thing we see is just getting crushed over and over again, but being able just to stay fighting. This one has 2 more Scar Souls. But I'm going to just kind of watch the fight play out. So it's like a lot of our archers shooting wolves down, and we have just a lot of our buff spells hitting as well. But overall, big fight going on, mainly around this part of the map. I guess he does not have advanced cast. I'm going to look at his pretender. Maws of the Earth. So yeah, so just trying to hold, but I don't think that's going to do much with as high strength. Again, just looking at it, our strength is 16, and that's just with Blood Surge, not Righteous Wrath. I think that spells it for TC. It's already, most of the units have fled at this point. I think we were able to outstrip TC's research, and we definitely have a lot more income. So they're just throwing what they can to stop us, but that'll be it for TC. Let's go ahead and look at where we end up with losses. So one of the 5 elements, they lose some of their geomancers, most of their alchemists, and just chaff. We lost really nothing. Some free spawns, some summons. We lost some Nidbeth, but overall, again, we didn't lose any of our mage support at all. So, and almost everyone retreated. So, not bad there. Mictlan, we went ahead and pushed in on trying to take up that coast. So we have a very large army coming in with some mercs, and they don't have anything. Nothing to really worry about watching here. And we didn't lose any troops there. And then Vath, this is our siege. So seeing what they had, looks like they didn't have much at all in here. They has a few, I'm sorry, not even, is it 2? They had a commander, oh yeah, 2 geomancers without any items. So with the many troops we had with our heavy cal, with all of our spells, we're probably going to be hitting a lot of our own. We wanted to push through this, yeah. So just using evocations to push as much as we could, not to make sure we got stopped here in the gap, and that will be it. We're now pushed through. So even though we didn't have a lot of Nidbeth to help, we had plenty of heavy cavalry to push in through the forces, clean up the archers, and that will be it. So fort is ours. That means the throne is ours. So big play here. So lost some Bear Clan, lost some heavy cal probably to ourselves, but overall we just took out the rest of this army. So really, I want to kind of just push through, because the main thing is we're capping our 4th throne. So we're putting in the command to cap it. We only need 4. We have 3 left. I bet Vanheim is trying to make a big push over, and they just didn't get to it. But right now we're just sending everything we have. Hopefully we'll get to see a good fight, but I think this will seal victory for us. If not, we're going to just clean up. Man, I'm not going to spend a ton of time looking through everything. I want to do one more video if the victory is in. I don't think they can stop us from claiming, just to talk about how the game went. But overall, just to look at orders quickly, and not to waste time, we are sieging Mictlan down. The Wallen Turkey is 400. We have over 500. We're going to be pushing that in next turn, if there is a next turn. We're staying put at the Stonegrave Mountains, adding pressure here, and the rest is we're going to be pushing in Black Forest, make sure we keep this as secure as possible, and we're bringing in more troops to press on Uric. So overall, again, doing all of our recruitment, doing what we can, keep researching, but again, it's going to be a very quick turn. There's one major fight that we had here, so that will be it. But if we will see, hopefully next time, if there is victory for us, and we can talk about where things went well and what things didn't at post-game. But anyway, that'll be it for turn 55. Just to do some information in case we have one more battle. Well, our Scar Souls are pretty healthy, and same thing with Vath. We have plenty that we're moving in as well. So not a lot of losses. Our troops are fairly good, ready to keep going. So, all right, I'll see you next time. But again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye. Hello and welcome to turn 56 and our Nidavangr playthrough. And we can breathe a sigh of relief, because you may have already seen the messages. Victory. We reign supreme. So this was, we'll be checking the history and looking at the graphs, but yes, as expected, we were able to solidify our win with our Nestar, who survived the whole game, and having the 3-eyed Raven just kind of stay in place. So there was a few fights from Vanheim trying to come back in, where this was one that we were fighting them, but Vanheim attacked us in the Black Forest. We'll go ahead and show this. This was, after looking at it, realized that they had magic phased in instead of sailed over, because we didn't get all of our recruitments up. This is showing the Wrathful Skies, showing that just trying to decimate the army as much as it can and back up with illusionary walls. And we had our Wailing Winds up, but I'm going to speed this up just to showcase this amazing fight to the end of a wonderful series. As a lot of us were learning nations that we hadn't played before and just like did expansion testing with. And I also do account for the Nidbeth souls as well. But yeah, the lightning strike's coming down for this fight, trying to stop them here, and you see we'll have several quote deaths for sure at the end of this. I was happy that a lot of our mages stand up, but our pretender does bite the bullet, if you will, from from the Wrathful Skies. They were able to get through, and we see even more. I think, is there? Yeah, so 7 for a secret. So both pretenders were in this fight at the end here. But a great conclusion to a great game overall. And what I want to do is just, now that I've spent a whole game going through with Nidavangr, is talk about things I would do with the Bless. I'm going to make a nation summary as a whole, talk and discuss what I would do next time differently, some things that really stood out that I did well, some things that did not do well. But, ooh, it looks like, did he get off? He did. He retreated off, so he would have survived. I don't think there's a province for them to get to from Blight Forest. Oh, they are in the Great Forest, so yes. But yeah, so again, just doing a quick synopsis of the world. I feel that our positioning, we were able to start applying pressure on the Western, push TC. They had Uric, but I have to imagine the income difference is ginormous between us and TC. We were able to apply them with the heavy calv and additional troops, constantly bringing over more sacreds, like another, 25 sacreds coming in, constantly keeping our cap fresh, patrolled out, and our mages. These mages, I have to give Nidavangr props, and I'll be going on and on about how great these mages are. They cover so many weaknesses with the spell ward, with the air shields and air fiends, and they have great mobility. It's just an incredible unit, and really the backbone. I imagine a lot of people see these troops and they are good, do not get me wrong, but I have just been so impressed with the flexibility of these crow mages. But yeah, so where we end is we had taken out a big chunk here at the end and applied pressure going up to Vanheim. We had just gotten a merc to be able to apply pressure in Vanheim. We had gone to Micklin. We did give up the sea though, and that's one thing that, hindsight 2020, we failed our hit, I think, at Boat Eater early on, and if we had gotten that, it would have just been a very different game. But we did not equip our wolf mages to take on them. The underground, I think, was also pivotal. Being able to freeze these rivers and expecting our Dominion to push, I think, was probably one of the top moments that I had for the game. And to be able to keep our supply line, even from the west side, all the way over to Sonora, and this whole battle here. Well, we'll look at graphs again. This won't be a long video because I want to spend some time diving into the nation as a whole, and that will be the next video to kind of like capstone this series, is to talk about what did well, what my lessons learned, like I would change the bless slightly, and things to be mindful of when you're playing this nation if you haven't played it yourself. So one thing I like to do is to remove the AI, just to give some of this is like how the actual players did. I'm sorry, Vanheim, did not mean to. You're not part of the AI nations. So with our provinces, I'm honestly surprised at this. I felt like I knew Vanheim, or it looked like Vanheim was doing well, but I'm imagining these are maybe 2 provinces, maybe 1 individual, I'm not sure. But we had a very rough start, and I think, I'm trying to remember the count, I'm going off memory, it was like 7 provinces, or 8 provinces at the end of the first year. But it looks like a lot of us had issues, but I really thought I was counting, maybe I miscounted Man's provinces, but I thought they were much higher, and they do explode. And I think either here or here, this is where our nap enters with man, and we're able to expand out without the worry of war. And this is definitely when war starts, and we start taking a lot of the man's provinces away. TC was just pigeonholed, I think, with their failure with, or either A, a bad expansion, B, also what happened with Uric. They stayed quite low, and were not able to have the capacity to expand, since Vanheim and myself were applying pressure on both sides. You see, Vanheim just had so much more territory, but maybe it's not representing as much as I thought. I really was counting that they were almost double, but the graphs don't show that. It was never double the territory we had. I'm interested to look at income here shortly, but I think it's probably getting close to the end of year 3 around here, and this is when we take over Sonora and we just catapult ourselves, taking over their provinces. Forts, Vanheim had so much more infrastructure than we, but we really didn't need it. I feel like I made a good call with Palisade. Maybe I should have down here, what's the nation's name, in Tempente. I kept this as a Palisade. Maybe I should increase it just from a fortification or defense, but being able to recruit anywhere is another strength, of the nation, and we're able to keep applying pressure with a lot of our units throughout it. But yeah, and then a lot of this was taking over other infrastructure as a whole. Income, this surprises me. I really thought I was behind, but it does look like Vanheim is not quite double, but clearly much higher, until, again, we're at war. Man and I were very consistent. I'm also surprised by this. I know we had some good fights with Man, but even in our war, we were neck and neck all the way through. And then TC, this is why TC just wasn't able to apply enough from what they were being able to take and be able to utilize. Gem economy, we did quite well. I feel like we spent gems well. It looks like there was huge spikes though with Vanheim and TC. I don't know if they just got a lucky event or they just cashed out something that they found quickly. But these spikes are interesting. I know where our spikes hit from Nidavangr, and you can tell constantly twice borning and applying, or being able to just use some point buffs and getting them out as well. Then research, we didn't have any boosters, nor did I feel like, looking back, I don't know if Construction 5 was a mishap. I know there was talk at one point to get lanterns, but we really were able to hit our goals, I feel, right around war time. Like each time we were hitting certain plateaus or goals that we had, we were able to be effective and use it a lot with alteration, with conjuration, enchantment. Yeah, like we were able to keep our army moving forward. But I didn't realize how much we were outstripping in the end. We were leaving a lot of mages back to push into, and maybe that's also a mistake, that we could have pulled our mages out sooner to put them on the front line instead of continuing research. And I think that's something that it's an easy trap to get to, that you think research equals power, and I know I do often, but if they're just researching and you don't have clear goals, then you're wasting that mage and that income that you spent on the mage. So maybe this is something to really be mindful of, but I felt comfortable, especially in the early to mid game, applying that research and hitting, especially alteration is so important for this nation early on. You really want to hit, I feel like, Alt 3, and if you can, Alt 4 in that first war, but depending on what happens, you have to make do with what you get. Dominion, yes, and then army size. I am so surprised at TC here. I really need to talk to the player to understand like what they had. From my understanding with army size, it does weigh in more with size. It like takes the size of the troop. So with them having jumping over to TC, them having these chariots and these horses, these are size 5. I thought they had chariots too. Maybe it's a summon. Yeah, they, or it was an indie recruit, but still, having this much army size is shocking to me. And also, with Man and I were a lot closer than I thought. Like, I so felt like I was at a disadvantage with Man, but you can see these hits where we won a few key fights and their army dropped, and I really believe this is when the AI took over as well, and then this is where they left that one province where we just couldn't. We had some embarrassing fights at. But yeah, overall, again, thank you so much for watching the series. Any feedback that you have about the nation, if you're an expert at it or that you call out things, right? Really, my next step is to just do a nation overview after playing through a game in a semi-multiplayer format to talk about what worked well, what didn't, and lessons learned. But again, thank you so much for commenting if you did, liking the series. If you have any feedback of the series as a whole, would really appreciate it. But as always, thank you for watching. Really hope you have a great day, and I'll start another series soon. Hopefully, again, keep trying out as I love this game so much. So, all right, have a great day. Thanks again. Bye.